Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Can y'all hear me okay? All right. First, I want to say me and my brothers had this thing where we get mad when we dib and dive in each other's friendships and everything. So I'm disappointed to hear that y'all been fraternizing with my enemy, man. But no. It's roughly 50 people here. But the way my mind turns, I see 100 people here. So first, I want to give applause to all the entrepreneurs and all the black beautiful women in the spot. And I want to say congratulations and thank you for your day. Thank you for the Women with Power tour. I want to congratulate you for that, first and foremost. Now, what I would like to do is I want to talk to the other 50 people in the room. I want to talk to the young sister that got pregnant at an early age. I want to talk to the young sister that suffered at the hand of abuse physically or sexually when she was young. I want to talk to the young brother whose father wasn't there to show him how to be a man as he was trying to travel his journey. And if he was anything like me, raised in the 90s, I learned from Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg, and I found out later on in life that they really wasn't being 100 with me. They were leading me down the wrong road. I want to talk to the sister that, because finances were weak or slow, she took the job at the strip club. The brother that was in the streets and saying things that I got to do what I got to do to feed my family, but we were too good to work the warehouse job, but we took the job that ultimately was going to take us away from our family, either through death or through the penitentiary. I want to talk to those individuals right there. Because first, as you show yourself as your representative today as the business owner or the business lady or the businessman, but that person that I just spoke of is the person that you have to praise, because even though you had all that stuff, you still fought through it. Things that young women have seen and went through that'll break a grown man emotionally. You fought through it. And you became your own business owner, the sister doing credit. You started Women with Purpose. You want to bring women together and to fight the narrative that y'all can't get along. You did all these things despite the odds. To the brother, I love to see this brother walk in with his family. I love to see it. I don't know his story, but I'm a black man in America, so I know what his story could have been. And if he hadn't been incarcerated, statistics show us that if you're over the age of 18, you either know somebody or you have been incarcerated yourself. Am I right, brother? Exactly. Congratulations, bro. That's what being the light that the darkness hates to see. They don't show this on Facebook. They don't show this on Instagram. A brother holding his kids, supporting his wife, and she takes the front and leads and talks and feeds the community and everything. But she easily, effortlessly falls back into submission and sits with her husband and her king. They don't show that. But that's how we grow. That's what Women with Purpose looks like. So forgive yourself. Praise yourself. All that. That person that I just spoke of, that's the person that created who you are today. I call it ATP. At some point in your life, you can look at all your mistakes or you can look at all the great decisions that you did make. And it leads us to today. You are a summary of your decisions. Just like myself. Just like myself. I always talk about scripture. If you're a believer or not, the principles hold true. Thou shalt not steal is across the board. You don't have to believe in Christ to know to leave people's stuff alone. So when I'm talking about the principles, I want to talk about the Proverbs 31 woman. The thing that I love about her is today when we talk about the word submission, we look at it as though we take it from a negative standpoint. When in actuality, when you look at this sister, she was one of the strongest women that you can see in the Bible. She was on her money. She was a realtor. She had money because she had maid servants. She had women that took her business forward. Well, what did it say she do? She got up in the morning and cooked for her children and her maid servants. She took care of the people that were taking care of her. She was so respected in the city that you had no choice but to respect her husband. Her husband sat with the elders. If you knew anything about the Israelite community, they praised you on your leadership and your wisdom. So if you found yourself in a room with the elders, you was doing things in the community. Her husband sat amongst the elders. So that tells me what type of woman she had to be. She had all these things, but she effortlessly submitted to her husband, controlled power. The black woman, a woman in general, is the strongest thing on earth. But if you have any power with no control over it, it's a danger to you. The black man can be the strongest thing on earth. But if you don't have that power control, it's a detriment to you. That's why the scriptures tell me, even though you have all this power, you can create life. You can protect, you can build a woman up, you can break a woman down, you can build a child up, you can break a child down, you can make another brother fall in. You have all this power. But if you don't submit to Christ, then it's unchecked power and it can be a detriment to you. And that's what happens in our community. We have all this power. We know we the greatest thing. Everything that you look at has our flavor on it at some point. Anything from entertainment to music to how we got to the moon to whatever you want to talk about, you cannot tell this story without talking about an African American person at some point. We have the power. How do we control the power? Because when you control the power and you submit that power to something, that power can then become great and you can grow that power. We look at praising ourselves. We look at forgiving ourselves and being unapologetically black, being unapologetically a woman. There's nothing wrong with that, ladies and gentlemen. There's nothing wrong with it. So when I say yes, the word submission comes from a position of weakness, we need to understand that really the word submission comes from a position of power. Because just like the Proverbs 31 woman, though I have all access and I can do all things, I submit myself to my better half. And so now we talk about the vetting process. Because the reason why the word submission comes from a position of weakness is because we never were taught properly to vet. How many of us was climbing a relationship ladder only to get to the top and find out the whole time my ladder been leaning against the wrong wall? I've been with the wrong brother. Brothers, I've been with the wrong sister. That's because we were never taught to vet properly. And we were taught to vet properly, then it would be easy to understand that I'm going to share everything with my wife. Because I know I'm building. It'll be easy to understand that I'm going to trust and let this man lead my household because I vetted him properly. It's the same thing you do at a job. They don't just bring you on. Some jobs you got to go through 5-6 interviews. That's a vetting process. Because even though you may have the education, are you good for this office? Can you connect with everybody that's in here? The same thing in business we apply to our personal lives. The same thing in business we apply to our personal lives. You get up, you motivate yourselves. The scriptures say, gather yourselves together, O nation not desired. Well, what about when we talk about desire, what about the woman with the glass ceiling and she's not able to grow? That's a nation of a person that does not have a certain level of desire attributed to them. What about the issues that you battle with the male species, let alone the black man? We have been created, ladies and gentlemen. The Negro is a created being in the way that we think, in the way that we treat each other. We know that it ain't right because we say things that let you know. We say things like, it take a village to raise a child. Then we get mad when somebody correct our children. We're going crazy, I'm sorry. We know the truth. We know where we want to be and we know where we want to go. Setting a goal, growing to that goal. But I'm telling you, every step of the way, that's where the character is built. That's where the hard times are built. Your failures, the things that you did not achieve, trying to hit a mark, seeing an opportunity come, this one kills me, having an opportunity sitting in your face, but you're not prepared for the opportunity. How many of us are prepared to pass by an opportunity because we know if we get into it and we don't do what we're supposed to do, it's going to be more detrimental to us than it was for us not to take the opportunity. I've been there before, but that comes with true self-evaluation. That comes with being honest with yourself. You can get online every morning, I'm a boss chick, I'm doing all this, but I'm talking to the woman that when she sits by herself, when she knows she's made a problem after problem, she's chosen the wrong men to recreate life with. She has 2 or 3 kids and those men are nowhere around. When you made it look good, you might have the Benz, you might have the house, and you've done, the education is there. I'm talking about the woman that sits in her recliner when the house is quiet and she's thinking about her decisions and her mistakes and how to capitalize, how to forgive herself. That's where the power comes in. That's where the power comes in. Sometimes you got to touch the bottom. I always say I hate the penitentiary, but I thank God for the penitentiary. I'm sorry, brother. Let me jump back. I hate the penitentiary, but I thank God for the penitentiary. Because the penitentiary helped me become the man who I am. I had to realize that I wasn't a man. Because a man wouldn't put himself in position to be taken away from those that he's supposed to protect and provide for. So now I had to self-evaluate And I had to come back stronger physically, mentally, emotionally. And the whole time my baby was growing up by herself. So I had to pray, God, please protect her. Because I'm sitting here with vultures. I know what they do to kids. I know what they see. Just give me one more chance to get out here. I owe this little girl. So every time that I'm trying to elevate, every time that I'm trying to grow, I'm trying to pour into her what I should have been pouring into her. Because I need her to be emotionally intelligent. I need her to not climb that ladder in a relationship and realize that she's been climbing against the wrong wall or building with the wrong man. I need to show her how to properly vet a young, respectful leader of a man, or how to vet a NIGGA. I need to show her. And once I show my household, the scriptures tell me to be a father to the fatherless. Now my responsibility is my community. Now my responsibility then becomes my community, because some women don't have men, or don't have husbands. Some children don't have fathers, but that fall on the righteous brothers that do have families. The righteous brothers that do have the entrepreneur spirit in them. And you don't have to be an entrepreneur who's just trying to do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. That's where you're going to find success at. I'll say this and I'll leave you guys. Success is in your succession. Success is in your succession. It's not about how much money we make, brother. It's not about how much money you sisters make, how lavish you live. It's about your great-great-great-grandkids. How much of that do they get to enjoy? How much of that do they get to enjoy? I don't want to have to answer or be accountable and say that I lived a great life if she didn't live a great life. I lived a great life if her children don't live a great life off of me. That's where the mentality has to be. That's where it has to be. With that being said, shout out to Collective. Shout out to Staff Financial. Michael Wayne Hills II. I love you. ATP, Brandon James. I am doing my part. Thank you.